So I'm gonna say it right off the bat, I enjoyed this kit more than a lot of kits I've built in the last few months. Now that is no shade on the kits I've built in the last few months, because they've all been great. It's just there's something special about this. It might be the fact that the full mechanics melee's KENBU right here is pretty much like nothing I have ever built before and does everything, and I mean everything, 100% right. I guess the quickest way to sum it up is, it is rock solid. It's a great plastic on plastic solid build. It's really big, as you'd expect from a 1/48th scale mecha kit. Now the mecha that are from Amaim Warrior on the Borderline or Kyokai Senki are a lot smaller than Gundam, so a 1/48th scale kit is a little bit on the just over handheld size, but it's a chunky kit. This, once built, is impressive. It comes in at about the size of a Master Grade Gundam, but with a whole lot more bulk. It's a weighty little kit, and it is robust. The color separation is fantastic. It's pretty much perfect for the most part, besides maybe on one weapon. And we do have a whole lot of stickers and decals in here. The stickers are the jewel type ones we would have seen with the Perfect Grade Unleashed, which give it a real cool effect. I love those stickers. And when it comes to Kyokai Senki kits, I adore the high grade line, but this absolutely blows them away. This kit is so impressive and a lot better than I was expecting it to be. This is a great mecha model kit. Anyway, as always, this video right here wouldn't have been possible at all without those awesome people at Hobby Link Japan, so if you do want one of your own, they are still in stock right now, and I'll leave that link down there in the description. Now let's check it out. So first off, speaking about the build, this is a nice middle ground when it comes to a fairly sizable build. This won't take as long as your typical Master Grade by Bandai, but it doesn't take that long really. It's probably a good, decent day build if you give yourself the entire day to build it. All the parts are perfect, they cut out perfectly, most of the gates are hidden behind other parts. The plastics in here are all absolutely beautiful quality, and it snaps together so easily. You won't need many tools at all. When I was nipping this out, I did use a god hand to nip it out, but you could use any nipper because this is so well designed. I did also use some of Bandai's brand new sanding boards, which I will mention are fantastic, but besides that, this is an easy to snip and snap kit. This is a kit that pretty much features a fully detailed inner frame. Now, it doesn't have a full inner frame because of the particular design of the kit. And this is the first release version, so it does have some clear parts for using on some of the parts that do have an inner frame, like the upper legs, the shoulders, as well as some parts in the arms. There's a lot of nice moving gimmicks inside of this and all around it, and the one thing that really impressed me the most about this is the detail inside of the cockpit. Once again, this is 1/48th scale, so the pilot figure is quite large inside of this, and that does mean there is a lot of nice detail inside of the cockpit. It is in color separated, of course, but if you like painting tiny details, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. The kind of stickers in here, like I mentioned, are the jewel type plastic foil stickers that we would have seen with the Perfect Grade Unleashed. You've got a choice of either green or red, depending on the green for the powered on mode, and red for the power exceeded mode. Now, I went with green for the main reason that it contrasts nicely against the red on this kit. That is the only reason, but both will look fantastic. These catch the light in such an awesome three-dimensional way that no stickers by Bandai or that I've seen on any other kit have ever done before. It's like a little jewel. So when it does come to the color separation and the plastic on this particular kit, there is one thing that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and that is those little pistons inside of the chest of the KENBU right here. These are in metallic injection gold, which doesn't look really all that great. It's just a tiny part, so if you actually build it straight, it will still look good, but I decided to grab some metallic Gundam markers and actually hit that up with the gold. Now, I do mean to top coat this at some point so they, well, don't scrape up, but this does make them look a lot nicer in that kind of cool, brushed gold kind of way. The attention to detail here is ridiculous. Compared to the high grade we would have seen, there's a lot more surface detail, and inside of the head there are so many tiny little parts, and there is no sticker for the eyes. These are in color correct clear green. The white on this is separated into two shades of white, which is nice. We've got a dark white, a light gray to actually bounce against that white and break it up nicely to look like some cool panels. And speaking of the panels, this kit was so impressive to me that I really didn't want to kind of half-arse the build. It's still a straight build, but I decided to go all in and grab some of the extra thin type panel lining markers to fill out all of the little lines that are all over this. So I use the black on the white sections, I use the gray on some of the white sections that I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the paneling on, and I used the brown on the yellow parts, black on the red as well. As for the decals that come in here, these are the sticker style decals. Now these aren't the greatest, but they're what Bandai usually puts in their standard release kits. Now I will mention that after release, Bandai sometimes does release water slides for a lot of its lines. I've got some here for the various recent real grade kits that came out, as well as high grade Gundam 00 kits and the real grade Evas. Now I suspect that Bandai will release water slides at some point for the Kyokai Senki line if they haven't done so already. So if you do not like the stickers, I say hold off on using them just yet. And when it comes to the detail on this kit, Bandai didn't, well, they slightly did, but they didn't half-arse the weapons at all. The rifle in here is made out of so many different parts. I love the rifle with the high grade, but this is so impressive looking. I'd almost buy another one of these kits just to steal this for using with master grade Gunpla. It's such an awesome rifle. We do have some options for building the incomplete form of KENBU that we would have seen in the first episode of the anime, and we also get 2 different arm-mounted weapons, and the one weapon that is not color separated, which is the big ol' sword. But there is a whole lot of options inside of this box, and I guess that's it about the build. Let's take a look at the aesthetics. So now jumping into the aesthetics with that full 360-degree spin, and I adore this kit. It is so beautiful. Once again, it is the same absolutely ridiculously cool looking KENBU we would have seen with the high grade, with the reversed limbs, the very robotic look to all of the joints, and the very non-humanoid, very mecha looking mecha that this is. Like I mentioned, the color separation is fantastic. The shades we have in here are nice. The yellow is a nice pale yellow. The red is a very bright yellow. The white is separated into a white and a light gray. And we do have dark gray all over the place for the inner working segments of this particular suit. Those green stickers on the power icons on the legs do catch the light nicely. And I will mention later on, but I'll touch on it right now, you can actually open up the bottom parts of those power lamps as they are referred to in the manual. The paneling on this is phenomenal. It's separated so nicely, and all of the joints, everything looks like it plays a functional role, which it does. Again, the only thing I did change about this besides panel lining it a little bit is the gold inside of the chest. The design on the decals is quite nice. I really like the ones with the little electrical warning, but they're very nicely designed. But once again, it would have been nice if they weren't sticker style decals with that big ol' very obvious border. The head on this looks absolutely phenomenal. Once again, we've got light piping, color accurate eyes that are in that clear green. And unlike the high grade, the hands on this are color accurate. They do look really good. And we even have a separate armor section that slots onto that thumb. So that is impressive. I haven't even seen anything that nice ever on a master grade. As for a size comparison, there it is beside a high grade Gundam, and there it is beside a master grade Gundam. So as you can see, this thing is quite large and very hefty. So I'll mention here that I really do have a thing for scale, so I like to see what size certain robots are beside robots from other universes, so when they're the same scale, I'm very happy. And let's see if I can even squeeze this thing in here. This is a Gundam that is the same scale as this full mechanics KENBU. So this is the 1/48 scale, mega size Gundam Unicorn. So if you're ever curious at how big one of these amaims are compared to a Gundam, well, there is your answer. They're quite small in comparison. Now, I know the anime Kyokai Senki wasn't really all that popular, and you might be avoiding these kits because you didn't really like the anime so much, but I have to say I highly recommend this. It's such a good kit, even if you want to paint it up in an actual realistic or militaristic look, just to kind of hide the Kyokai Senki-ness about it, it will look and feel phenomenal. Let's check out what it comes with. So now jumping into the accessories, and here is the full mechanics Melee KENBU with absolutely everything that it comes with. And this comes with quite a bit. Anyway, let's check out everything one at a time. So first off in here, when it comes to the hands, these are actually quite interesting. The way they're designed is really cool. So basically the palm stays attached to the hand while this section is taken away and replaced every time we want a new hand. So the default one right here is just this one, which attaches on like so, which is a very nicely designed hand at that. The back rear armor of the hand actually has the white part of the digits, which is very cool, and the white part on the thumb you actually assemble on, which is very, very impressive. When you want to swap out the hands, we have the widespread ones we just saw, as well as a holding hand just like so, and a trigger finger holding hand just like this. Attaching them on is just as simple as when we took them off, which is just pop it on just like that. The thumb right here stays attached from the original bit of the hand that stays attached to the wrist, and that has a little bit of a ball joint attachment that lets it move around ever so slightly. But now that we've got this hand attached, we might as well check out what, well, fits into it. So the first weapon we have in here is the straight sword. Now this is the only thing that isn't really fully color accurate, as the blade in this, like we can see in the manual, is meant to be in a kind of yellowy orange. So besides that, this kit is fairly color accurate, but if you want this to be right, you're gonna have to whip out some paints. In order to attach this into the hand, you have to pop off the gray section of the fingers on the front like so. It just pops in and the fingers sandwich on in the typical kind of high-grade sort of way. This holds on perfectly and you can get some decent poses out of it because of the cool articulation. But on the whole, it is just a simple, close-quarters weapon. Just like we would have seen with the high-grade version, we do have a cool backpack for storage of the weapons that pops on just like so. The arms on this do feature some simple but effective pivoting articulation, which allows the arms to move out like so. And when the long sword right here is not in use, beware of knocking off its thumb like I just did. And then this can just attach into that just like this. Oh yeah, just like that. And then that can just be stored away like so. Wait, according to the instructions, that's totally upside down. So here and here. Ah yeah, there we go. That's the way you're meant to do it. So just like we would have seen with the last hand, we've got another one. This one has a trigger finger, attaches on the exact same way. And I will mention, we do have a left and a right hand for the holding hand, so you can hold the weapons, whether it's the rifle or the katana, in either or hand. And speaking of the rifle, this is a weapon right here that has me really impressed. The detail on this, the part separation is fantastic. It just looks so cool. I love, it's gonna fall off, isn't it? That blue tack is just not gonna hold. Down, 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 there it goes, it's nearly there. And that's really holding on there, isn't it? It's gone. But yeah, extremely impressive weapon, lots of detail. You can see through these here holes through to the barrel that actually goes through those. So that is nice. This version of the hand right here, this has a little bit of a peg segment right here, which attaches very nicely and securely into the handle of the rifle. And then you just pop the fingers onto it like so. Nice. Perfect hold. Rotate the thumb around into position. And that is nice. So like I mentioned, this is made out of a lot of nice parts. And we also have a removable magazine, which is always a very nice touch. We do have a molded bullet in the top there, which lets me know that this was inserted in 100% the wrong way around with the bullet backwards. So let's pop this in the right way. So once again, because this kit has awesome articulation, that means you're going to get awesome poses with this rifle, and the way it slots into the gap between the arm segments once again looks phenomenal, flush, and really well designed. I love the high-grade KENBU, but this one is just so much better. So just like we would have seen with the straight sword, and just like we saw with the high grade, you can also use this cool armed backpack to hold onto the rifle as well, to store it up on the rear of the unit, just like so. So the next piece of equipment we have in here is this shield we would have seen early on in Kyokai Senki, which is just a bit of metal with a good old knife on the end. Now to attach this on the full mechanics is quite cool. We do have this little push in segment here, pull out down here, and that does unlock this little segment right here, which allows the shield to attach in. Now one interesting aspect I will mention, beyond the fact that we've got that shield attached to that arm, well, this shield is just for on this arm because it is shaped to it, but that exact same mechanic is around here on this arm. Now we do have another full mechanics coming out, which is the upgraded version of KENBU right here, but I'm not sure if we'll get a weapon pack like we've seen with the high grades that might do something to expand upon that little opening part. So anyway, that's what the shield looks like attached. It is quite nice, but it is a little bit on the plain side. If you want something a little bit more detailed and over the top, then we've got this one right here. But this does replace the whole lower arm, so that means you can use this on either side as far as I know. Just pop off the arm, pop off the hand, and this just replaces all of that segment. Unlike the arm, or should I say, well, I guess it's the arm that we just popped off, this isn't asymmetrical, so I assume you can use it on both sides. Actually, I'll try right now to see, but that right there is what it looks like attached, and we've got this whole swing out pair of blades, which is really damn cool. Anyway, let's try that clawed weapon on the other side. Just pop it off like so, pop off the hand, pop off this arm, and that seems to fit absolutely perfectly. Let's get the other arm back on here with the other shield, with the other blade, and there we go. You can actually use both of these just like that right there. So the second last accessory that we have in here is this little piece right here. Now this is to recreate the first form of KENBU that we would have seen in the anime. Now, in order to do this, you just have to remove all of the armor panels off the right hand shoulder like this, and then just pop this little segment in like so. And then you just attach the shield with the short blade onto the left arm like so, and there you go. That is the first form of the KENBU that we would have first seen on screen in Kyokai Senki. Next up in here, we've got a 1/48 scale pilot figure of Amo Shiba. This is very nicely detailed, as you'd expect from something that is quite large when it comes to Bandai pilot figures. If you actually throw down the KENBU beside it, well, he just fell over. Yeah, you can see he's very, very small. In comparison to the mech, it gives you a good idea of just how big KENBU would be in reality. So this right here is to recreate the elevating, descending movements of the arm and the rear skirt. So basically, pull up the skirting arm around back, and we have a flip out arm with multiple points of articulation with a platform on top. If you angle the head, open the cockpit, and pull out this little knee segment right here like so, he can set up a pose that shows Amo Shiba himself on the platform, ascending or descending up towards or away from the cockpit up top. I will also mention that we do have a full pilot figure inside of the mecha as well, and we do have an opening and closing cockpit hatch. So now moving on to the final part of the review, which of course is the articulation. And I will mention that because I put so much time into the build on this today, that I have gone a little over time when it comes to the actual review, so I'm going to have to speed through this quite quickly. So first off, we do have a multiple jointed neck, so we've got a decent giggity goo. There's the head all the way up, all the way down, side to side tilt inside of the head, and a lot of side to side and wiggle inside of the body as well. Lots of nice joints in the neck. Just like we would have seen with the high grade, there is a lot going on inside of the arm. We've got these little flaps here, which allow the arms to move up quite high. We've got a moving piston inside the chest when the arms moved forward and back like so. We've got the full 360 spin in the arms right here. You can move them up as far as that point at the shoulder, down as far as there. Everything from here on down then is a bunch of pegs like so. So it's a lot of simple but effective articulation. So we've got the full 360 spin right there. We would have the full 360 spin right here if the shoulder did not get in the way. There is the moving out of that blade, and we've got the full 360 spin down here at this wrist as well, and a ball joint for the wrist, and a nice hinge in the hand here for the flexion and extension. So very nice. The design and the engineering in the body is very nice. We've got a pivot right here, and we've got a secondary pivot down here. So that does give you a lot of options when it comes to actually moving the torso like so. Just watch out for knocking off the hands. Inside of that then we do have a full ab crunch forward and back like that. The kicks are pretty much as far as you'd want. Again, just like we would have seen with the high grade, that is what we get of the legs all the way out. So pretty much the full splits rotation at the upper leg like so. Again, this is a peg in a hole, so it does what a peg in a hole do for the knee right here. So that's a decent bend. Ankle bends here too, like there to there. Rotation right here for the foot. We've got ball joints for these armors on the sides of the ankle, so these can actually move quite a bit. Ball joint right here for this bit, so it stays out of your way when you need it to. Getting the foot on the ground for that functional movement, and there it is to the back, so not too much. To the front, oh, never mind. I was bending the wrong thing. There it is to the back, a lot. There it is then to the front, and we have a toe bend just like so. This toe also bends down like that. So with this bit here, that is up and down. And finally, as for the side to side pivot, it pivots inside of the foot like that. So it nearly goes all the way, which is incredibly, incredibly cool. So in essence, not a lot has actually changed from the high grade, but you're going to get some cool, awesome, over-the-top and unique poses out of this. Also, all that jazz back at the butt flap too. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and you know, I'm tossing up what to give this. I'm between gold and platinum because this is essentially a perfect mecha model kit right here, and I absolutely love it. When it comes to the aesthetics, the robot itself is 100% what you want to see from Melee's KENBU. It's exactly everything. Every bit of detail down to the pilot figure in the cockpit looks phenomenal. We've got light piping, clear green eyes, great detail. The color separation is fantastic. The white and grey split of the white is really cool, and those dual style stickers for the little power icons are so damn awesome. When it comes to the accessories in here, we've got everything you'd want. The detail on these is great. The sword does let us down a little bit, not having the color accurate blade, but I guess maybe that's what it looks like when it's stored. I'm not particularly sure. But we do have a lot of options, and the rifle kicks arse. The articulation on this is phenomenal. The build is rock solid, absolutely perfect. It can pull off crazy poses, and it feels so solid and weighty in the hand. That's it. It's platinum tier. This is 5 out of 5. An absolutely perfect model kit right here. This comes highly recommended from me. Whether or not you like Kyokai Senki, if you do like Kyokai Senki, then you will absolutely love this. And hey, if you don't like it, you'll love it anyway. It's a great kit. Definitely one of my favorites of the year so far. Did come out this year, right? Didn't it? Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Mecha Model Kit reviews. And as always, I'll see you next time. As always, this video and none of these videos would be possible without each and every one of you watching these videos, including those of you who are supporting me on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including VanFon, RG59061, Lawrence Seahack, Kill Me Inc., Joseph Kukluk, Joe, Gunpla UK Limited, Global Frequency Studios, Forsetti, Caleb Engelhart, and Craig Jury.